A family found a 195-pound Bullmastiff puppy tied to their front door at dawn. No name, no number, just a handwritten note with 7 words. I hope he's happier with you than me. They had one plan: drop him at the shelter. What happened over the next 6 years will stay with you. They found him at dawn, tied to their front door, a wrinkled, trembling Bullmastiff puppy with a handwritten note pinned to his collar and 7 words that stopped everyone cold. I hope he's happier with you than me. No name on the note, no phone number, no explanation, just a leash, a tiny shivering creature, and the kind of goodbye that breaks something inside you even when it isn't yours to carry. The Patterson family had 0 plans to keep him. 0. They were not dog people, they had not been looking, they had not been considering. In fact, within the first 10 minutes of finding him on their porch, they had already made the decision out loud. Feed him, get his shots, drop him at the shelter. Simple, clean, no attachment. Nobody told them that Bullmastiffs don't operate on your timeline. Nobody warned them that this particular 195-pound bulldozer of a dog, who at that moment weighed maybe 12 pounds soaking wet, would spend the next 6 years systematically and cheerfully dismantling every boundary they thought they had. His name was Meech, and this is the story of how a family that absolutely was not keeping him ended up completely, irreversibly, and joyfully ruined. Meech's story started the way too many Bullmastiff puppies do, full of hope, wrapped in love, and tragically short-lived. His original owner, Michael, adored him. For one beautiful month, maybe 2, Meech knew exactly what it felt like to belong, to be somebody's entire world. That kind of early love leaves a mark on a dog. You can see it later in the way they trust, the way they lean in without hesitation, the way they never quite believe you're really leaving, even when you are. But then, life happened. A job transfer, a new city, an apartment with a strict no-pets policy, the kind of brutal, unavoidable reality that forces impossible decisions on people who never wanted to make them. So, in the quiet hours before sunrise, Michael made the hardest choice of his life. Tied Meech's leash to the Patterson family's front door, pinned the note to his collar, and walked away. Meech didn't understand. He sat there on that cold porch watching the direction Michael had gone, waiting for him to come back around the corner. He waited through the dark. He waited as the sky went from black to gray to pale morning gold. He barked, thin, desperate little yelps that barely carried past the door. And when the door finally cracked open and a stranger's face stared down at him, Meech did the only thing he knew how to do. He wagged his tail. The Pattersons brought him in, temporarily, they told themselves, just until the shelter situation was arranged. They bought kibble, they watched him inhale an entire bowl like he hadn't eaten in days. 2 days passed. The shelter was still the plan, but he needed vaccinations first. You couldn't just drop off an unvaccinated puppy, that would be irresponsible. Appointments scheduled, shots administered. A few more weeks went by. Just 1 more week, just until he's a little older, just until he settles in. The excuses stacked like furniture in a house that was quietly, sneakily becoming his. If you're watching this and haven't subscribed yet, honestly, that breaks my heart a little. These stories only reach the people who need them because of your support. Hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you want to see where this goes. Now, back to Meech. Here is the thing nobody tells you about dogs like him. They don't win you over with dramatic moments. There's no single heroic act, no life-saving midnight rescue, no cinematic turning point you can point to later and say that was the moment. With Meech, it happened the way a tide comes in, slowly, quietly, and by the time you notice, you're already underwater. By month 3, he had claimed the couch. All of it. He would flop onto it like a building collapsing in slow motion, all 195 pounds of loose skin, barrel chest, and absolutely 0 spatial awareness, landing with a thud that rattled the windows. The couch visibly sank. The Pattersons started sitting on the floor. His snoring was legendary, not the soft, rhythmic kind, the kind that rattled picture frames, the kind the neighbors heard on warm nights with the windows open, the kind that woke you up at 2 in the morning, and somehow, inexplicably, made you smile. And the drool. The second anything remotely edible appeared, a sandwich, a cracker, a cooking show on television, Meech's jaws transformed into biological waterfalls, rivers of saliva onto floors, furniture, and unsuspecting house guests who learned very quickly not to wear nice clothes to the Patterson home. It was disgusting. It was absolutely hilarious. It was Meech. But here is what nobody expected. Least of all the Pattersons themselves. Somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, something had quietly shifted. The shelter stopped coming up in conversation. Nobody announced it, nobody made it official. One day it was still theoretically on the table, and then one day it simply wasn't anymore. The way certain things stop being possibilities, not because you decide against them, but because life makes the decision for you while you're busy living it. Meech turned 1, then 2. Then 3. The family that had planned to drop him off within the week had stopped calling him the dog we're going to rehome somewhere around month 4. By year 2, they had started calling him our boy without noticing the shift. By year 3, they couldn't remember what evenings had felt like before he occupied 3/4 of the couch and snored through every movie they tried to watch. He was never trying to earn his place. That was the thing. He wasn't performing. He wasn't campaigning. He was just being exactly and entirely himself. Goofy, slobbery, enormous, and completely certain that wherever these people were, that was where he was supposed to be. Some dogs save your life in a single dramatic moment. Meech saved theirs one slow, ridiculous, drool-soaked Tuesday at a time. Today, Meech is 6 years old, pot-bellied, magnificently imperfect, and utterly convinced that he is a lapdog. All 195 pounds of him will still attempt to climb onto whoever is sitting down, completely unbothered by the fact that he stopped being lap-sized approximately 5 years ago. He snores through movie nights. He begs shamelessly at dinner. He takes up 3/4 of the bed and shifts his weight at 3 in the morning until whoever is sharing it with him is clinging to the edge. He has no idea he was ever unwanted. That note Michael left, "I hope he's happier with you than me," turned out to be the most accidental prophecy ever written on a scrap of paper. Michael, wherever you are, he is. And the family that wasn't keeping him, they can't imagine a single day without the sound of him, without the couch permanently indented in the shape of a 195-pound Bullmastiff, without the drool, the snoring, the shameless lap attempts, and the big wrinkled face that greets them every morning like they are the most extraordinary thing he has ever seen. Because that is what dogs like Meech do. They don't ask permission to become irreplaceable. They just show up. Goofy, slobbery, enormous, and completely certain that wherever these people were, that was where he was supposed to be. If you're thinking about adopting, please remember, shelters are full of dogs who were once somebody's whole world before life got in the way. They are not broken. They're just waiting for someone to open the door. What would you do if you found a puppy tied to your door with a note like that? Would you keep him, or could you really let him go? Tell me in the comments.